Hstv, inspiring wellness.
News in 30 is brought to you by Hstv and Underglow TV in Ohio.
A very good afternoon to you. It is the 19th of April 2024. Welcome to News in 30 right here on Hstv with me, Savara Aiden. Now we bring to you some local and international news stories. We are streaming live on our YouTube platform at Hstv Live GH. Do well to like, comment and share. Now on to the headlines for today. The Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abujinapo, has launched this year's Green Ghana Day project with a call on the citizenry to commit to come together to plant and grow at least 10 million trees. And the Accra High Court has adjourned the case seeking to compel President Akufo-Addo to receive the anti-LGBTQ plus bill from Parliament to Monday, April 29th. Government has released Na Okromo, also known as Na Yomo, who was embroiled in controversy over her alleged marriage to Bobo Wulomo, a Nongwa deity, into her parents' care. And the National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, has expressed deep concern over the government's alleged failure to pay mandatory contributions for over 700,000 Ghanaian workers. Quick reminder that we are streaming live on our YouTube platform at Hstv Live GH. Now, the news in details. The Accra High Court has adjourned the case seeking to compel President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo to receive the anti-LGBTQ plus bill from Parliament to Monday, April 29th. The adjournment follows the Attorney General's filing of the affidavit in opposition. The affidavit was filed on Wednesday, April 7th, a day before the court heard legal argument. The court had earlier granted an abridgment of time for an expedited hearing of the case filed by the National Democratic Congress MP Roxanne Nelson Defiamepo.
Fresh matter, and we were to go by the normal court processes, we would actually not be in line to be heard by now. But as the court has been very gracious, because of the application for expedited hearing, as you can see, all of us are trying to file our processes on time. The only thing that was of a bit of a surprise today was the fact that the Attorney General, who had indicated at our last sitting that they were not going to file an affidavit in opposition, but were going to come and argue on points of law, have now filed a formal affidavit in opposition and their statement of case. So we would have to take a look at it. We looked at it in the court. We were served in the court. So we had a look at it, and we believe that there are a few points that we want to deal with. And so we would file a response to it, which the court has graciously given us. And so barring, I don't think that there'll be any reason why on the 29th we cannot move. We've already moved the motion, so then the court will take the motion. The court may decide to give a ruling on that day, depending on where the fact that we had all filed our processes, or if the AG or anybody wants to make a supplementary point, they'll make the point. But as it is now, clearly we are on course. I believe that the motion is moving well. Clearly there's a lot going on. We brought to the attention of the court the letter from the Speaker. We brought to the attention of the court the letter from the Speaker of Parliament. And so that was an important point, because Parliament has responded to the letter from the Office of the President. And in our opinion, that even strengthens our point that without the intervention of the court, nothing would go on. So allow the court process to proceed. You have to get you see, a decision cannot be made when all the facts are not before the court. And so it will be unfair for us to let the court proceed when there are matters that are still outstanding that must be brought to the attention of the court. The AG has filed his processes. We filed our processes. We've sought leave to respond to processes filed by the AG. So on the 29th, there should be no reason why the court will not go ahead, either to give us a date for the decision or maybe to give us some further directions.
Moving on to another story, the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abujinapo, has launched this year's Green Ghana Day project with a call on the citizenry to commit to come together to plant and grow at least 10 million trees for a greener tomorrow for the survival of generations unborn. Mr. Abujinapo made the appeal when he jointly launched this year's edition of the Green Ghana Day with the overlord of Dagbon Yana Abubakar II in Tamale yesterday.
The climate crisis is worsening by the day. We are told by the experts that last month was the world's hottest month ever recorded, surpassing July 2023, which was the hottest in the last 120,000 years. Worst of all, global temperatures have been rising for a record-breaking 10th month in a row since June last year. And I believe we can all testify to the heat we have been experiencing in the country in the last few months. South Sudan, for example, had to close down their schools due to heat waves, and there are fears that the Horn of Africa may become inhabitable due to these heat waves. Just last week, the United Nations said soaring temperatures are putting millions of children in Asia at risk of diseases and death. These rising temperatures have enormous impact on health, food production, access to water, among others, particularly for agrarian economies like ours. And as Your Majesty, more than any one of us can attest to, farmers in the Savannah Zone, the food enclave of our country, are no longer able to predict rainfall. These grim statistics call for all hands on deck approach to halt climate change and save lives and our planet. The Green Ghana project is one of the measures the government of Ghana, under the able and distinguished leadership of President Akufo-Addo, has adopted to curb the incessant degradation of our forests, which has become ongoing for years without any conscious effort to replace them, and to contribute to the global fight against climate.
Now, the Teachers and Educational Workers Union has issued a strong demand for pension arrears owed to public sector's workers, now citing a month-end deadline for the government to address the issue. The Teachers and Educational Workers Union emphasized the importance of timely pension payment for retired workers and called for urgent action to resolve the outstanding arrears. The union warned of potential consequences if the government fails to meet their deadline, raising concerns about the financial security of retired public sector employees.
When the month ends, there is deduction on my pay slip, deduction to the effect of my SNIT and my Tier 2 contributions. And yet our checks indicate that when it comes to even Tier 2, government is in arrears of more than 6 months. We are asking government to, as a matter of urgency, release all arrears and its attendant interest, or if you like, and its attendant penalties, because the laws were made by government. The penalties thereof for delaying in releasing of funds, it must be done within this month. Otherwise, we will advise ourselves. We will join hands. We will join hands with other public sector unions and do what unions know how to do.
Since the introduction of the free teachers policy, there have been a sharp increase in students' enrollment across the educational institutions. Not only second cycles, but it's moved up to tertiary institutions too, because we are in all these setups. However, there have been a sharp decline in the workforce of non-teaching staff in the various educational institutions. So we experience deficit in the following workforce: security personnel, laboratory technicians, cooks, pantry hands, cleaners, tradesmen, and others. I'll give you the detailed list. We want these anomalies to be corrected, whether there is IMF program or not. If that is the case, then let us reduce the students' enrollment to match the workforce of the institutions.
By working together in a spirit of partnership and mutual respect, we can overcome the challenges, seize the opportunities, and build a brighter future for all Ghanaian children and education workers. Government will continue to valorize education support staff and leverage your collective expertise and resources to amplify our collective efforts towards achieving educational equity in Ghana.
And that were some authorities from the Teachers and Educational Workers Union. Moving on to another story. The National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, has expressed deep concern over the government's alleged failure to pay mandatory contributions for over 700,000 Ghanaian workers. NAGRAT President Angel Kabono accused the government of financial misconduct during a press conference on Thursday, April 18th. He specifically highlighted the non-payment of Tier 2 pension scheme contributions and other third-party deductions since July 2023.
Are supposed to be deducted money from their salaries into their Tier 2 pension scheme so as to safeguard their future. Unfortunately, though these monies are taken and deducted by the Controller and Accountant General's Department on behalf of the Ghanaian worker, the monies have not been transferred into the various institutions which are the destinations for these monies. And to give clear example of the situation, the last time government paid any money into the Tier 2 pension scheme was in June 2023. What it means is that from July 2023 to March 2024, no payment is being done into our Tier 2 funds. The consequences of this is when somebody retires today, that person is retiring where his or her monies have not been invested for this period. So the pensioner is definitely going to be shortchanged.
Now, the staff of the Ashanti Regional Branch of the Electricity Company of Ghana are demanding an apology from the Regional Minister, Simon Osei-Mensah, for his alleged mistreatment of the General Manager, Engineer Mark Esuamani. Now, the Regional Minister has been accused of making remarks about the General Manager following a power cut at the Kumasi Technical University. He is said to have ordered the ECG staff to restore power to the university during the revenue mobilization exercise, a directive they did not comply with. In a statement issued on Thursday, April 18, 2024, the joint unions in the region expressed their dissatisfaction with the regional minister's action, asserting that they did not follow his directives in the operations. Now, in a new development, government has released Na Okromo, also known as Na Yomo, who was betrothed to the Nongwa priest in controversy over her alleged marriage to the Gbobowolomo, a Nongwa deity, into her parents' care. Now, government confirmed in a media briefing that now Okromo is not married to the Gbobowolomo. Government took custody of Na Yomo on April 1st following her alleged customary marriage to the Gbobowolomo on March 30th. Minister Designate for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Dakwa Newman, stated that the Attorney General's interim report recommends the child's release to her family for the best interest.
The Social Welfare Department, under the Ministry of Gender, has taken the child through counseling. The required medical assessments have also been undertaken. The counselors and caregivers have had conversations with the child and relatives about her education, her health, and her future prospects. So we would like you all to know that the medical assessment on the child, it indicates that she's not pregnant and she has no immediate health concerns. Now Okromo's date of birth, from records at her creche and her primary schools she attended, indicates that she's 15 years old, and she was born on the 18th of July, 2008. The child will continue to pursue her education, and the Attorney General has issued an interim report, which is dated 18th April 2024, and has advised that in the best interest of the child and in accordance with Section 2 and 5 of the Children's Act, the child should be released to her parents pending their complete review of the docket. Thus, the child will be reunited with her family today, 18th April 2024, after the parents have signed a bond.
She wasn't married to the Gbobowolomo. It's a ritual which she has been initiated into it at age 6, and she was focused on it. All they did was to elevate her status to a queen mother of that deity. So there was no marriage. Yes, of course, there was some incident of some MCs embellishing it on so many things, and my advice to them, sometimes if they talk to the Ministry of Chieftaincy with my registers, we can find appropriate people to manage these events. But they didn't know, so they went ahead, but there was nothing like a marriage. Yes, there are some customs and traditions that may well be looked at by my ministry, because we all know as Ghana became independent, before then we lived in the era where the tradition ruled, the chiefs were in charge, and the fetish priests and Abosom and all that, they controlled us. The Tindanes controlled some part. Me, when you come to my hometown and the fetish priest talks, nobody challenges them. There's a saying in Chi that but you can see it's red, but if you say it, you've tread where we shouldn't be, and the spirits deal with you. But also in the past, as we moved into modern world democracy, law, modernity, more education and all that, we've realized some of the customs and traditions need to be reformed.
Our office has taken possession or custody of the full docket on the matter. And our officers are reviewing the docket to ascertain various issues. One, whether what took place was actually marriage or not. We have not come to any conclusion on that issue yet. So the officers in the ministry are reviewing the docket, and when we come to any conclusion on that issue, it will be made known to the public. So what is now left is to ascertain what took place on the 30th of March, and if anything adverse is found in this particular docket, we give you the assurance that we will initiate prosecutions. But if there's nothing adverse about what happened, you also let you know.
Let's go for a very quick turn. When we come back, we have sports update for you. Do stay tuned.
Would you like to own a home, start a business, provide seed money, or a good education for your children? The Pro Wealth Plan answers all of life's questions. This is Ekwa 9. She wants to be an engineer in future. Her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Hammond plan to give her the best education but don't want to be unnecessarily burdened when she's ready for university in 10 years. Do you know how much it will cost Ekwa to go to a local private university or university abroad in the next 10 years? Ekwa's parents have signed up to a PruWealth plan. They pay affordable monthly premiums that ensures they are able to fund Ekwa's university fees and living expenses. When she's ready for university, Prudential will pay the maturity benefit and her parents can enjoy free insurance cover for an additional 5 years. In the unfortunate event that her parents pass away, Prudential will pay over 200% of the sum assured, which is 100% immediately, 10% annually to keep Ekwa in her current school, and 100% at maturity for her chosen university. This means that Prudential Life has guaranteed Ekwa's education regardless of life's uncertainties. The PruWealth plan also covers a spouse or partner up to the same sum assured. With over 26 million customers, 24,000 employees globally, and over 170 years experience, you and your family can have peace of mind knowing that you are in safe hands. Whatever your financial goals are, the PruWealth plan has the answers to life's questions. Call us today and let Prudential secure your future.
Hello there, good afternoon, and it's time for sports news with me, Precious Azuma. Now let's get into it for today. And former Ghana international Lykinson has been handed the coaching job of the Black Starlet. The former Accra Hearts of Oak and Accra Great Olympics winger, who won 42 caps and played in 2 Africa Cup of Nations, which was in the year of 2002, 2006 and 2008. For Ghana, has been working with Abdul Karim Zito as an assistant coach following their appointment in December 2022. Lai spends about 13 years abroad, plying his international career in Russia, Scotland, the Netherlands, Israel, as well as Saudi Arabia. Lykinson will be assisted by former Hearts of Oak captain Jacob Nete and Nana Adjeman, a CAF License A and UEFA License B holder who previously worked with Adenta United, the Lizzie Sports Complex Academy, as well as Progen Football Club. Now let's move into the camp of Kumasi Asante Kotoko and their owner, His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, has made it clear to the team that recent poor performances are unacceptable. At a meeting with the team at Menchia yesterday, Otumfuo indicated that he would dissolve the team before it goes to relegation. This is coming from Otumfuo on the back of Kumasi Asante Kotoko's poor performance in the last 7 games. In that run, the Porcupine Warriors have lost about 6 games and drawn just 1. This has put the club in a difficult position currently, with the team just 3 points above the relegation zone. However, later this weekend, the Kumasi-based club is scheduled to take on FC Samatex in a Week 27 encounter, and the match will kick-start at about 3 p.m. at the Babarawa Sports Stadium. And ahead of the game, Otumfuo Osei Tutu II has charged the team to ensure victory is secured. Moving on to my next story now, let's talk about some boxing. And then Ghanaian boxer Basti Samer has vowed to retire from boxing if Nigerian boxer Rashid Idowu beats him in a rematch. Rashid defeated Basti Samer via second round knockout with a combination of punches to end their vacant Universal Boxing Organization African Light Heavyweight title fight. The fight was stopped after the second knockdown as Bastismer lost consciousness until the medical team revived him. Despite the annihilation by the Nigerian boxer, Bastismer still wants a rematch. He explained that Rashid injured him with a foul punch, which he believes led to his defeat. However, he went on to reveal that he wants a rematch to vindicate himself, and if he fails to beat Rashid, he will retire from boxing. Back to football. Talking about former Liverpool defender Jose Enrique, he has tipped Mohamed Kudus as the suitable replacement for Mohamed Salah, who could leave the club at the end of the 2023-24 season. The Egyptian striker has been linked with several moves to the Saudi Pro League. Al Ittihad is reported up a staging €200 million bid for Salah, with Liverpool in the markets looking for good replacements for their star player. Jose Enrique named some players, including Mohamed Kudus, as a great player the club should look out for. And I'll be all on sports news right here on News in 30. I am Precious Azuma. There's more news coming up. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. That was Precious Azuma with some sports update. Now moving on to some other trending stories for today. Legal chainsaw operators engaged in felling of trees and extraction of natural resources are threatening the landscape and forest reserves of the Western Wildlife Corridor and the Northern Savannah Forest Zone. Apart from overgrazing, erratic rainfall and wildfires which were causing destruction to environment, people who are engaged in a chainsaw operation businesses were illegally logging timber, including economic trees, destroying the ecosystem for wild animals, and efforts being made to protect the reserves.
Money to from my yes, Ramona said, you may from her. Yania, my beya mob, papa. Yet you need a swelling yammy apart from yammy, a jumania, many a papa. Says, yeah, me nearly that show be a mikuna them of fate on solid, a jumani mikunu, enemy be Pia, take a Ramon Penyon for one nice from the Jumay when I'm on the barrier school. Makwaji low, that's a say a true Jumama Babes, I'm a Metia. Me need that show, baby, I mean that show near Jumay.
The government should not allow the military to come in and help us. Then sooner or later the company should be closed and all the workers will be out. And then we see some of them are they are the what do you call, they are caretakers of their children, their family, and almost I don't know how to put it.
Papa Maria school, Baba Pesica Cacradi, I school so. She said, me a Srema, Mumway, Naya Jumaywana, to say a Tumudiara.
There are so many security threats on the managers of Supremo Processing Limited. There are so many threats on that. There are so many threats coming onto our director, that's the company owner. And if it goes this way, it means this company has to be shut down. The company has to be shut down. We need the intervention of everybody, all Ghanaians, to come in. We've done our part. We've informed Nananum, we've informed the police, we've gone to regional minister, we've gone to MCE. Our pleas are ahead, but actions being taken are slow for us. And the company is coming down because now we are not going to the bush to work anymore. We are trying to acquire and buy logs. we are buying locks, and this is not helping the company. So the company owner, seeing all these things, wants to close down. And when this company goes down, there are so many workers you found around here. They are all going home empty-handed. Who's going to take care of their people? Who's going to take care of their kids? Who's going to take care of their parents? And then their dependents. So we are pleading.
Now, residents of Malam who are located along the Bola Road within the Weja-Gbawe municipality of the Greater Accra region have taken to the streets on Thursday, April 18th to voice their demand for the exalting of the 1-kilometer road. Approximately 100 residents participated in the protest under the watch of police officers displaying placards bearing messages urging authorities to address the road issue with slogans such as "No road, no vote." They expressed frustration with local authorities, including the Member of Parliament and Assembly members, for their apparent disregard of the matter.
I'm Nathaniel Akwetelatekwe. I've lived here for more than 30 years. We are demonstrating to the government to come to our aid. See, our road, they've denied us for more than 20 years. So for this time, this 2024, we say we are calling upon the government to come to our aid. Yes, we've done all. We've gone to the assemblies, anywhere, to the higher authority. We've been to everywhere. And we think this is the best time we can demonstrate for the government to repair our road. If not, we are saying no road, no votes.
My name is Maxwell Tegbe. First I came here, I've never seen asphalt road or Kota road here before. Always dust road. They have been giving gravels and other things on this road. So this time around we are tired of them. So we need them to bring asphalt. Without that we cannot vote for them. Because always they have been lying to us. They will take tax from us, e-levy, other things. But still, when they say like the time to vote, then they will bring gravels. When you vote to them, then they will leave the road. Then after the next vote, they will come again and put another gravels. So this time around, we cannot sit down, be watching them, giving us gravels and other things. We don't need gravels. This time we need asphalt.
The problem has to do with the drainage system, especially Mata, they're down there, where the bridges. When it rains, especially during this rainy season, when it rains, the whole drainage get flooded, entering people's houses. So first and foremost, they have to deal with the drainage before they construct the road. So that's my main problem. Getting to May, June, you could see that people, water will enter people's houses, which is very bad. Between Mata and Princess.
If you can follow, you see.
You say, me pa me know what say and me buy. Me buy no me pay and me tell say mo ye dede. In fact, ya bra wa ha. What the be so after nko a esa tete pa de bia ye se be ye se so to wa ha wontimi nante poto ya po ye we chiro hono a so ukwa na okobio nyama nyina ye fitiro nko a enti ye sramo yan kan kire aban se won ba ye mai wa
go to Kokroko, all the neighborhoods in Accra, you can see it's asphalt. Government said he's doing asphalt everywhere. So where is ours? So we are appealing to the government that it should come to our aid and come and do our road for us. We don't want MP to come again because the MP are failures, the assembly members too are failures. So for right now, we want the government to hear himself that we, the concerned residents of Bola Road, we are tired of the road and the dust. For 30 years now, we are okay with the dust. It should bring us asphalt. Then we also know everything that you do, you face difficulties. People will say this, people will say that about you. Initially, when I started, they say...
Global Trend is up next. On the international front today, Google has fired 28 employees on Wednesday after a number of workers at the company participated in a sit-in protest against its iCloud or cloud contract with the Israeli government, a day after 9 staffers were suspended and then arrested for participating in the protest.
The company announced deferrings in an internal memo alleging the protesting workers took over office spaces, defaced properties, and physically impeded the work of other Googlers. The protest took place on Tuesday at Google's Sunnyvale and New York offices. The memo said the actions were unacceptable, extremely disruptive, and made co-workers feel threatened, and the firings were made after an internal investigation that will continue. The group behind the protest, called Tech for Apathy, issued a statement late Wednesday saying Google workers had the right to peacefully protest about terms and conditions of their labor, and said the firings were clearly retaliatory. The group also claimed the firings were indiscriminate as they include people who did not directly participate in the protest. The group denied Google's claims of protesters defacing the company's property and impeding work, saying their sit-in was peaceful and received an overwhelming positive response and shows of support. Google is terrified of us. They are terrified of workers coming together and calling for accountability and transparency from our bosses. These mass illegal firings will not stop us, they said. On the contrary, they only serve as further fuel for the growth of this movement. The affected workers were protesting Google and Amazon's $1.2 billion cloud computing contract with the Israeli government called Project Nimbus. Both companies have faced some internal pushback against the contract, but the issue has been pushed into the foreground following Israel's invasion of Gaza following a terror attack by Hamas.
That'll be all for today's news updates, but let's kindly go for a recap of today's news headlines. The Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abujinapo, has launched this year's Green Ghana Day project with a call on the citizenry to commit to come together to plant and grow at least 10 million trees. An Accra High Court has adjourned the case seeking to compel President Akufo-Addo to receive the anti-LGBTQ bill from Parliament to Monday, April 29th. Government has released Now Okromo, also known as Na Yomo, who was bestowed in controversy over her alleged marriage to Bobu Rulomo, a Nongwa deity, into her parents' care. And also, the National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, has expressed deep concern over the government's alleged failure to pay mandatory contributions for over 700,000 Ghanaian workers. Thank you for joining us for today's news update on News in 30 with me, Savar Aiden. Stick and stay with us right here on Hstv. We have more for you. Don't go nowhere.